And we are live. This
Right.
time we're back with some more CSGO. Some familiar faces. It's Mr. Papa Boomster back in action.
Well, if it's CS talk, I'll be here, So that's why you've seen a lot of me, because the only thing we talk about is CSGO basically lately. So yeah.
Alright. Um,
Which is quite funny. We just finished a lot of CSGO, right? With ESL Pro League, Flashpoint, Home Sweet Home has been going on, and now we have something else coming up straight.
yeah, but I would say it's a good thing, no?
It's very good. That's what I'm trying to say. It's amazing. It's awesome. We are going to talk about Road to Rio ESL One. So this is amazing because especially Europe and North America and CIS, those regions are super stacked with good teams. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And this is going to go on for about a month from now. So
Okay, now I finally got everything fixed on the stream, so we can
right.
start going over this thing. So yes, we have obviously because of the Corona situation, we're at a point where we're running again different continents on their own tournaments. So we have Europe, CIS, North America, South America, Oceania, and Asia. And each of these regions will have their own Road to Rio tournament. The ones that are starting tomorrow are South America, North America, and Europe, and those are the three regions that we're going to be looking at today. Um, so, just like first of all, what do you think about this setup, the style that we're gonna have with the ESL Road to Rio? Considering the current situation, I think this is the best possible solution.
Yeah, I do agree. I don't think we really have any better options, and you know, I do like this in much better than because for an example, right? They could have just said all the teams that were legends go to the legend stage, challengers go to challengers, and so on, right? And then they would have like a small qualifier for the last spots or something along those lines. So I prefer this a lot. Since the tournament has been moved, the teams will be in very very different shape than they were supposed to be according to their own or their old rankings, so to speak. So I like this a lot. I also think, at least for the bigger regions like North America, Europe, CIS, and so on, the format is great. This is the absolute best format we can have. So I like this a lot. And then I think this tournament or ESL Rio is going to be played in November. So there's still a long way to go. So hopefully everything will be fine and the tournament can play out as planned. But nevertheless, this these qualifiers are quite amazing in themselves. So that's great.
You mentioned the format. So the format is the same for each region. The
It's not.
group, it's not.
No, it's not. It's a little bit different for
Oh.
the smaller regions. It's also a little bit different for EU than the other ones. So
Okay, so
it will be slightly different. It's not really that big of a difference. It's just that some regions have way more teams than others, so it changes it up a bit.
all right. With that said, let's start looking at South America, and then.
I,
So first of all, let's look at South America, then North America, and then Europe. Um,
sounds
South America group stage, single round robin format group. Group has 4 teams. All teams play each other once. All matches are best of 3. Top 2 teams from the group proceeds to the grand final. Next 2 teams from the group proceed to the semi-final. And in playoffs we have single elimination bracket, and all matches are best of 3. Um,
So this is one of the cases where there's not that many teams in South America in this qualifier, since we have a lot of the South American teams are based in North America, or they are there, and this is the reason these groups are set the way they are. It's not based on your original region. It's based on where you are at, because you can't really go travel right now, right? So for an example, teams from South America like MIBR, Furia, they are already in North America, and that's why they will play in the North American qualifier, just to clarify that. So this is obviously a pretty small qualifier. It only has 4 teams, meaning that this will be over rather quickly. They will play for, I think it's 5 days. The prize pool is also much smaller, since it's less teams. And from this qualifier, we will have one team going to Rio, as I understand it, and they will go to the contender stage. So they will, start in the lowest tier of play, basically, with all 24 teams.
yeah.
So this is quite different from how, for an example, EU will work, which we'll get to later.
So in here we have Red Canids, Boom Esports, Isurus, and Imperial Esports. Um,
Yeah.
honestly, Boom Esports is somewhat familiar. In
The players are,
Imperial,
they have, yeah,
yeah,
they have like Bolts and Phelps. I know them. So that's it.
yeah, and we've seen some of the Boom Esports games, I think. Hello, follow the Grey Rabbit. It's just the 2 of us today as we're talking Counter Strike. Mika is more of a League of Legends guy, so he's not here with us today, or not just League of Legends, but other games. But anyway, yeah, and Imperial Esports, their Showtime. He used to play for. Let's
He has
see.
been
He was in
around because,
Luminosity and SK. Tempo Storm,
yes,
Immortals. Yeah, he's been kind of like all over the Brazilian Counter Strike scene.
he definitely has. I just saw something interesting. I mean, obviously, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know these teams very well, but it's interesting that Red Canids has FNX. I mean, he's a legend. He's I don't know, he's 30 now. I don't know if he's done anything relevant since his SK gaming time, but that's pretty cool though, because I remember him from like 2006 or something.
Wait,
In his
he's
1.6.
still part of. He's still also in MIBR.
He's in the organization, I think, somehow.
Yeah,
But either way, that's pretty fun. I mean, let's be honest. All of these teams, are quite weak, and none of these teams will make it far in a major. But one of them will at least get a spot out of the 24 available. So, that's
uh,
about it. I can't really speculate. I don't know any of these teams. I don't know who of these would potentially win this. I have no idea. For me, it's
yeah.
just a coin toss, basically. So.
Fair enough. Um, Well, about it's really hard for us to judge the South American qualifier because, as we said, the teams are not so known to us personally, and obviously then we're missing Furia, MIBR, and there was another Brazilian
Well,
team in the North American qualifier.
yeah. Well, let's put it like this: if MIBR and Furia was in this qualifier, which they could have been if it wasn't for the situation being what it is, these teams would have no chance to qualify. That's just
Yeah.
so. That's about it.
And well, should we just step into North America then?
Sure, we already touched a little bit of the MIBR and Furia being part of this, and the other Brazilian team is EA Gaming, who I know nothing about, but just to look at how it works, since this is a little bit different, we have more teams. This is more of a proper qualifier, I would say. We have two groups of 6 teams each, and the format is kind of the same. So it will be a round robin format in the group stages. The top teams from each group will go to the semifinals, and the next 2 teams will go to the quarterfinals. And the playoffs is just a very standard single elimination bracket. So
Yeah.
that's about it.
Then obviously, like one of the differences is that in South America the prize pool was 10k. In North America it's 60k. So there's quite a
Yep.
massive difference. Looking at the teams, should we do it by groups or just all at once?
Just choose a way, and I'll
Well, I have
follow
all
along.
the teams showing now on the stream, so we can start with 100 Thieves, aka the Old Renegades. We have Azur, JKS, JKM, Lias, Gradis, Faction, and coach being Kassad. 100 Thieves was in Flashpoint. That was the last time we saw them properly. We were expecting a bit more from them in that tournament. No, oh, it was
You mean ESL Pro
EPLNA.
League?
EPLNA. Sorry, my bad. EPLNA. They did not make it to the playoffs, right?
They did not.
Yeah. And we were expecting them to be in the playoffs, if I remember correctly.
I would actually have to go back and check out how those groups were and everything. My memory doesn't serve me very well right now.
Let's do HLTV, 100 Thieves.
Yeah, because it was the Liquid EG show basically.
Yeah, so
Yeah, they did.
I have the results showing now. So they won 2-1 against Wall Patrol, and they won 2-1
yeah.
against Evil Geniuses, then lost 0-2 to Liquid and MIBR, and then in the kind of the deciding match they lost to Furia 2-1.
Yeah, so I do remember now when you brought it up, because they started really well, and then it all imploded, kind of. I remember the game against Furia being the deciding game, and it was very close, but we do expect a bit more, I think, from 100 Thieves. Maybe not much more. They are not better than Evil Geniuses or Liquid. They are probably on par with Furia and MIBR, but they probably should be able, in my eyes, to actually beat the 2 South American teams out. So it's a little bit up and down, I would say. They seem to have consistency issues most of the time. They can be amazing, they can be very good. In Katowice, for an example, I think they played fairly well. Then it's just up and downs. They never really get to that top level, but they never suck either. So
Yeah.
I guess that's a good thing. But look, in Group A here, they should definitely be the second best team. That's what they should be. I don't trust them to be, but they should be, because only Evil Geniuses on paper should be, significantly better than them at least, if you
That's
have the
fair.
groups up. Because they're playing against Cloud9, Gen.G, Orgles, and Triumph. I mean, they definitely should go through here at least. They should be top 3. That's not even a discussion.
Yeah. I'm just looking at world rankings at the moment, and 100 Thieves is number 9 in the world on both ESL and HLTV, and the 2 teams from NA that are above them are Team Liquid and Evil Geniuses. So yeah, it's quite on par.
Well, I think like this, right? 100 Thieves has pretty consistent results. They don't have any high peaks, but they also have, they went to playoffs in Katowice. That's very good, looking at the situation. So they are a middling team, but here they should definitely qualify, no doubt.
And I do think like some players like Gradis Faction, for example, when he has a good day, it's a very positive thing for the entire team because he is a really good AWPer.
He can be. He's just very inconsistent.
True.
I've seen him be absolutely terrible. I've seen him be great. I think the thing that makes 100 Thieves, like, makes or breaks them kind of is JKS, though, because JKS on his best is one of the best players in the world. He really is. But if he's having an off tournament, they have no chance. So it's quite hard to call this team, honestly. But yeah, I don't know. I was kind of expecting at the beginning of the year to see 100 Thieves actually do really well. So this far, I'm a little bit disappointed. Uh, they should be doing better.
All right.
That's about it.
Um,
But looking at Group A, I mean, I think we both agree that Evil Geniuses are the clear favorites. I don't think there's much
yeah.
to
And actually, Evil Genius is the team to talk next. So we have Breeze, Zerk, Ethan, Tariq, Stanislav, and Zeus as the coach. I mean, they are in the top 10 where they should be. I still do think that they are a bit inconsistent. I think they could be more consistent as a team, but definitely the number one seed of the group.
Uh, for sure, I agree with everything, but I do think that their inconsistency issues might be something they can fix with Zeus coming in. So I really hope that gives them, a positive effect, because this team has a lot of skill. Like, this is, I would even argue, this is one of the most skilled teams in the world. I absolutely love Cirque on his best. I love Breeze, and then there's a lot of good, supporting kind of players in Tariq and Stanislaw. So I really like Evil Geniuses, and I really, really hope they can find their consistency with Zeus coming in. And to be honest, I really think that Evil Geniuses could, in my eyes, challenge Liquid as, a complete package. It's just that when they play each other, it seems like Liquid has the upper hand. I just think that Evil Geniuses, they have a peak against international competition that's just as high. So
Yeah. All right. Then, well, let's go over these Group A teams now that we're on their own.
well, I think
Cloud9.
we shouldn't go through them all, maybe, but maybe if you mention who you think, because we agree 100 Thieves and EG should have locked spots in the top three. So, out of the four remaining teams, who's going to take the third spot?
So I'll just go over quickly the rosters of the teams. So we have Genji with Automatic, Daps, Kulsta, Som, Bentet, and Elmapari as the coach. Cloud9 is JT, MOTM, OC, Floppy, Sonic, and TC as their coach. Then we have Triumph with Spongy, Sheikh, Zula, Grim, Kari, and Junior, and the world famous Hopeless with FNS, Wardell, Zabrosa, J, and Infinite. Um, After seeing
Wait.
Cloud9 in... Yes?
I was just. I had my brain stopped or something. I thought Orgles had changed a player or something, but they don't have, as far as I can.
No.
Okay.
So, out of those four, after I've seen Cloud9, I've seen Genji, I've seen Orgles. This Triumph is a completely no-name team for me. I don't even recognize any of the player names, to be honest.
I've seen a fair few games with them actually, against like Orgles, for an example, and they're not the biggest name, of course, but I really think they are not far from being like on the same level as Orgles. So they're not terrible.
The answer to your question is who's the team that's gonna join 100 Themes and Evil Geniuses. I do think that Genji might be the one making it. In my eyes, it's been Genji and Cloud9 probably. And I do think
Well,
Genji
yeah.
is there. Like now that they've gotten more time to play with Bentet to practice more, and I think if Bentet can get to his prime, he can make a lot of damage, and I think that's an asset that the other teams might not have.
So I do agree. I actually think that Gen G has a pretty good, potential, or their skill ceiling is really high. But I do think that Cloud9 is still a more complete team, and if I had to choose, I would take Cloud9. But I do think it's close. I wouldn't even count out like Orgles. They can create some upsets here and there, but realistically, I think Cloud9 is the third best team here. Gen G very close behind.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting to see who picks it up.
Yeah. And then looking at Group B, we have Bad News Bears, Furia Esports, MIBR, Team Envy, Team Liquid, and Yeah Gaming. Is that like yeah or something?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
for sure. Okay, this is actually a very interesting group. I would say more interesting than Group A, or more interesting. how should I put it? This is sad news for bad news bears and Envy and J Gaming, because ending up in a group with Liquid, Fury, and MIBR is kind of and should be good nights for all of them. Like
Yeah.
realistically, I don't see how any of those can actually challenge the top three there. It looks really hard.
Well, yeah, gaming is obviously out.
Should be, yes.
Teen Envy, I mean, Nifty, Ryan, Calix, Mihu, Moose, and Legia as the coach. Just not enough.
I
Just
mean,
not enough.
Envy showed in Flashpoint that they can challenge teams every now and then, but obviously, I mean, looking at the big picture here, the three top teams in this group are just way too good for Envy. I can't see them having a chance. But if anybody is gonna, make a huge upset here, I guess this is them. But that is gonna be really hard.
Yeah.
The thing is this, okay, this is how it goes though. If they are lucky, and they win their two important games against the two, bottom teams in Yeah Gaming and Bad News Bears, and then they can create one upset. If they can beat MIBR in one game and MIBR manages to lose against the two other good teams, then they could go through. They need to make an upset in one game, and they could actually go through with that only. So it's not impossible, but it's tough for sure.
So my question here is: do we trust on MIBR to be able to clinch their spot in the playoffs? I don't see MIBR winning the group. I think that's most likely Team Liquid. Furia might surprise. If they can win Liquid, they can win the group, because I think Furia. The group winner is going to be between Furia and Liquid. MIBR has been too inconsistent for me to say that they have they actually have a fighting chance to win the group. I just don't think that. But yeah, gaming will be dead last with sad news bears. And
Well, I think like this, right? Because I agree with you. The thing is that I think MIBR is, a decent team and they can do damage, but against a team like Liquid, they don't have what it takes. Furia is not much better than MIBR, but they have a peak where if they play an amazing series, which happens, they could do it potentially. Yes, I agree. But the thing is, it doesn't really make that big of a difference. Kind of, if you're top three, you go to the playoffs, and I'm sure if Liquid, if they manage to lose against Furia, they would probably come back and win the fucking playoffs anyway.
yeah, fair enough.
But yeah.
So from Group A, you say 100 Thieves, EG, and Cloud9, right?
Yeah.
And Group B, Liquid, Furia, and
MIBR.
MIBR.
I mean, it's not really even fun to say it because it's so obvious. I'm sure almost every single person on planet Earth would agree.
I mean, for me, Group A, I say 100 Thieves, EG, and Genji. Group
Sure,
B,
sure.
it's Liquid, Furia, and now after what you said about Envy, I'm kind of in between whether it's Envy or MIBR.
I think there's a small chance, but I do think MIBR
Yeah,
is much
MIBR should be able to do it. Right.
You're just an MIBR hater, man.
No, I'm not. I told you many times that I really like Fallen. I think.
Still, you shut him down every time we talk about.
It's not my problem. He's not playing well. Like.
Well, he's actually the one usually who is playing well.
I know. Taco is the one that I give shit to.
Hey. Yeah. Okay, I know, but
you give shit to me, I give shit to Taco. You give and you get. That's how it works. This is life.
But I mean, you deserve it a little bit. Taco is just a cute boy doing his best.
And I'm not cute? What the fuck?
I mean,
come on, dude.
Is there can't you make a test on internet, Google cute generator score or something? And I'll put in a picture.
Okay, I'm googling. Prettyscale.com. Am I pretty or ugly? Let's see. Start. Male? No, I'm not gonna upload any pictures. Okay. What about love calculator? Name 1. Okay. Name 2. Janne. Um,
The hell are you doing, man?
um, our love calculator says there's a 56% thing. Uh, there's probably something in there. Just make sure your presence is known, so your feelings don't get trampled like a 4'8" NBA player.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, we're
So
learning
now
something here.
that's settled. Let's talk about ESL One Road to Rio Europe.
Yeah, I think we went through South America and North America, so there's not that much interesting stuff to say about it because South America is what it is, and North America, the teams are pretty clear who should go through.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Europe is much different, but Europe has so many good teams, and there's actually quite a few teams that could make an upset because they have been looking good lately. So, hey, let's head into Europe.
Right, and as we travel from like the way we're going is like upwards. We start from North America, then we went to South America, North America. Now we go to Europe. So of course the price pool gets beefed up too. We go from 60k to 115,000 United States of America dollars. We have 16 teams in total. Group stage is played, two round robin format groups. Each group has 8 teams, all teams play each other once, all matches are best of 3. Top 2 teams from each group proceed to upper bracket, and next 2 teams from each group proceed to lower bracket. And playoffs are a double elimination bracket, all matches excluding grand final are best of 3. Grand final is best of 5 with a 1 map advantage to the upper bracket team, which in my opinion is absolutely redonkulous.
This format, if we could have this for every tournament that's ever going to be played in the future forever in CSGO, I'll take it.
With the exclusion of the 1 map advantage for the final.
Okay, yes, I actually do not like that. But everything else, I mean, the group stage is great. I think this is something that was actually mentioned in the ENS video that came out yesterday, and I started thinking about it. And as much as I love having, a ton of games every day and having the same team play fucking 3 best of 3s, I don't care. It's fun for me. But the teams really prefer playing 1 best of 3 and being able to prepare for the next one, you know, having time in the evening, next day, and so on. And I have to agree with that format being the best because that way we get the best CS:GO possible. And this format is great. The teams will play maximum 1 best of 3 a day, and everybody will play everybody. There's no best of 1 bullshit. This is straight up as it should be. And the playoffs is great too with the double elimination brackets. Love it.
Yep. So let's start looking at Group A first. I'll just go over the teams and then we start diving deeper. We have Fnatic, Astralis, Team Vitality, Ninjas in Pyjamas, ENS, Complexity Gaming, Dignitas, and Team Heretics. That's a tough group.
Yeah.
If
It definitely is.
if you are the lower tier team here, you're getting fucked.
I mean, maybe. I can't argue against that. But I also think that the top 2 spots will be extremely hard for everybody besides Astralis and Fnatic. Because Astralis and Fnatic, if they don't end up 1 and 2 here, they have failed. They should.
Yeah.
But the 3rd and 4th spot, I really think everybody has actually a fair chance. I don't think, even though my favorites would be Vitality and NIP, they are definitely not solid enough right now to be like sure to pick those up or something. They can lose against basically all of these teams. I really think so. Maybe you don't agree, but I think as much as I favor them to take those spots, I do think teams like ENS, like Complexity, Heretics, maybe not Dignitas, but I really think those games in between those teams will be super close.
Wait, Dignitas is playing with Halzerk now?
I actually don't know, but I would assume so because now they are back in Europe. I don't see why they wouldn't. Their issue with Whole Circle was that he couldn't go to NA.
So you could think that Dignitas is going to be quite a lot stronger.
Well, I do think they are stronger with Holzerk, but now they haven't played with him for a month or so, you know? So that's also an issue because now they have been playing with Guardian and now they need to go back to playing with Holzerk, so maybe that's an issue. I'm not really sure how that will play out, but yes, I think they will be stronger. And actually, just to mention, Dignitas at their best has played super close games with Fnatic like a month ago with Holzerk.
Mm.
They were like an inch from beating them, and I wouldn't count them out. That's all I'm saying. I don't think they shouldn't be top 4 here, but it's not impossible. They at their best they actually look pretty solid.
Because
And I don't think,
I
like I
mean,
said,
Forest, Get
Vitality and
Right,
NIP.
Exist, Freiberg, Halzerk. It's a tough lineup.
Well, yeah, 4 years ago.
Hey,
I mean, today it's really not. I think they still have a chance. I'm saying they're doing better than I expected, than most expected, but you know, they're not a world class team. Like they are not, but they have chances here, and it's mainly because I do think that Vitality and NIP are still not that.
hmm?
I even think ENS has a chance. That should tell you something.
I mean, okay. Let's go there. Let's talk about Ents. So I haven't watched the entire 1 hour yet. I've watched like 40 minutes of it.
Hmm?
You watched it completely, right?
I did, yeah.
What's your outtake of the BTS?
Well, I mean, this is obviously just a feeling, and I don't know how the team is looking in general. I mean, it's just a 1 hour video as well, but it really looks to me like the players are kind of given up. I don't see the passion in them at least, but I can understand them. Nothing is going their way. They have ended 3 tournaments in last spot. It's of course it's tough. Uh, I don't really think you know something needs to change. I don't see the drive in them anymore either. It's just a bunch of excuses, honestly, for bad results, and it's the same excuse as it was half a year ago now. I don't really. It's hard for me to see them stepping up big time. Even with that said, though, I think they have a chance in this group, which might sound crazy, but I do think that at least in ESL Pro League, they looked a bit better on the server. They still keep on losing, which is obviously bad, but they did play quite well, for an example, against Astralis, against Vitality. Then they won a game against NIP, which was at least, it's a win. They were already out at that point, but it seems like things are a little bit better in Den's camp, and they know that they've been close, but they still need to improve. That's clear, but I don't think this is as impossible as some might think. And that is basically looking at it in ESL Pro League, ENS played well against Vitality. They could have won that game. They did win against NIP, and they are the two main, enemies here to beat. And I think they can do it. Uh, but looking at the video, is that was your question? It really looks like they have started to have some doubts themselves. It really looks tough over there, but it's understandable, and maybe a few good results can change that too. I don't want to count them out just yet. Anyway, I think they are improving. So
Okay, now I want to hear your thoughts. You probably heard about the Yumpy rumors that Yumpy would be
sure.
joining ENS to replace X7 in non-Valve tournaments and games. Well, it doesn't matter who
I'm sure.
Yumpy would replace. Let's say he replaces anyone from the team. What do you think about the idea itself that you would have a player that plays all non-Valve events and then someone for the majors?
Retarded.
All right.
If that's the case, then I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Like, either the team doesn't have ambitions to make majors, obviously not true. So in the other case, it's absolutely fucking retarded. I mean, as I see it, they have to know that Jumpy will be able to play. Why otherwise would you bring him in? I don't understand it at all in that case. I don't know how anybody can even say anything else about that.
But I don't think they know if Yampi can play or not, because the thing is
Well,
just the the court case is just about to begin. It's gonna take a long ass time. So
yeah.
either it would be that they have um, they strongly believe that Yampi will win it and will be able
Yes.
to play eventually, but at the same time, because it might take 2 years, you know, man. Like if it takes 2 years, will you just play with the 6-man lineup and have someone sitting from all Valvenants, and then you get nothing out of majors because you can't play with your full potential, kind of. So in a way, it kind
Well,
of feels like. I, I mean, obviously, you would be able to grind some kind of cash from the big tournaments, even placing low on the stands, but I don't know if that's
nobody would
sufficient.
do that. I mean,
Yeah,
I think, like you saying, it might take 2 years. If ENS is actually gonna sign Yampi, they have to know that's not the case.
yeah.
Like, there's no way they sign him without being sure that something will be settled shortly. You know, I can't see that happening. Maybe, however, right now is probably the right time to do it because we don't have any big Valve events for a long time. You know,
Yeah.
so maybe now is the best time to sign Yampi then, you know, because even if you're somewhat unsure, but I still think it sounds fucking ridiculous to sound or sign somebody who can't play tournaments. Like, why would you ever do that?
Hmm. Fair. Um.
I I, I don't see any point to doing it, and I mean, like I said though, we have to look at it as the next major is Rio in November. It's very likely ENS is not gonna qualify there. So the next major he could possibly play in is probably a year away. You know, we have to take that into account. It's 1 year until the next major if they don't qualify for Rio.
True. When you put it like that, it actually makes sense.
Yeah, but I still feel like they have to be rather certain that Yampi then will be able to play. Why would you otherwise even sign him at this point? It's kind of point. Or you just don't have ambitions, but of course ENS has ambitions to be in majors. Like, that's obvious.
Yeah. No, it's a very interesting take. I didn't think about it from that perspective. That when the majors are going to resume, but it's gonna take a long time. And
It's
during
gonna
those
be a very
times,
long.
we're gonna see shitloads of online CS that are not Valve events. So yeah,
True.
in a way, it makes sense if you need to grind some cash, for example. I mean, at the end of the day, Yampi is a world-class player or world-class potential.
Yes.
So yeah.
I don't want to call him a world class player yet. He's been amazing,
Mm,
but he needs to prove it on the next level, like for
yeah.
sure, before I.
Okay. Before we move to Group B, tell me which 4 teams from Group A are going through.
Alright, so the obvious ones are Astralis and Fnatic. They should be number 1 and 2 here. I really think they will be, considering that now it's different from, for an example, ESL Pro League when they came in and played their first competitive online games in a long time. Now they're warmed up and they should grab 1 and 2 here, especially with the format and everything. They have no excuses to do anything else. Uh, I think Vitality will grab one of the other spots. It's the fourth team that I'm really, really torn about, and it should be NIP, and I will say NIP, but I think it will be really close. I think any of the 5 teams remaining actually could end up fourth. I'm not kidding.
Okay,
Heretics as well. Like, they have been really, really good lately. So
I'm gonna drop a bomb here. I'll say Fnatic, Astralis, Dignitas, and Vitality.
okay, reasonable. Like, for an example, just to clarify what I'm thinking here. For an example, if somebody gave me, let's say, probably, well, let's say just something, 10 times the money on any of these 5 teams, or, you know, at the bottom 5 teams to make it, I would take that bet any day of the week because I think it's really, really close between all of those 5.
I'm actually gonna go check some of the odds now,
Well, I was
out of
very
interested.
curious. I just didn't find any odds for the groups in themselves. I just found, game odds. So I would have liked to play on, qualify or go into the playoff or winning the group and stuff like that, but I didn't find anybody having it right
No, I don't find any either.
I think all of this has been a little bit confusing for betting operators. So a lot of them don't have long time bets. They just offer the game bets because nobody knows what the fuck is going on in the esports world. So I
Yeah.
think that's actually.
Okay. Then let's look at Group B. We have Mousesports, G2, FaZe Clan, North, Godsend, Contact, Movistar Raiders, and Copenhagen Flames. And this
Yeah.
group is probably tougher. I think Group A is a bit more top heavy. I think Group B could be a bit more balanced, maybe.
I think. Okay.
Well, they're
So
quite even actually. They're
Group
quite
B.
even.
Yeah, the thing is just the Group A has two amazing teams. I think Group B, if stretching it a little, has three. But then the rest of the teams in Group B are weaker
Yeah.
than the rest of the teams in Group A. Because, for an example, Movistar Riders and Contact, they are kind of bad teams. They should have no chance here, especially Movistar Riders. Then Copenhagen Flames also should belong to that category. They did do quite well in Home Sweet Home, but in this group, it's a lot to ask. I'm pretty sure, personally, that we have the top three is already set, and then the fourth spot is between North and Godsend. That's how I see this going.
Yeah, I mean, Contact Movistar Copenhagen, even though we saw them in Home Sweet Home, and even though Copenhagen Flames did fairly well at Home Sweet Home, unfortunately, you can't really compare these tournaments to one another. I mean,
No,
the the teams are just from a
it's not
different
even
level.
close.
Yeah, I mean, we have the best teams in the world here. Home Sweet Home we did not have, so simple as
No,
that.
no.
Um,
I mean, just to clarify that in Home Sweet Home, Copenhagen Flames played teams like Endpoint. They played they played Gambit Youngsters, Endpoint, Skade, and Team Spirit, and then they played Big and they got smashed. So yeah, they should have no chance here either.
And I
To be fair.
mean, Copenhagen Flames, they were in Flashpoint. They played 4 series, won 1 map. They lost 2-0 to Contact, 2-1 to Mad Lions, 2-0 to Havu, and 2-0 to Cloud9. In Home Sweet Home, they won Gambit Youngsters, Skate, and Spirit, but that's not good enough. I mean, losing to
All
Endpoint
right.
2-0 and then smashed by Big, so.
Do we agree that the fourth spot in this group should belong to Northern Godsend? One of them?
Um, yes, I mean, I would like to spend or give a matter of doubt for Contact because of there's a Finn in the squad, but uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's right. So instead, my question will be rank the top three teams in the correct order, because I think it's very clear. If Mouse, G2, and FaZe, if one of them doesn't end up top four here, it's like a massive.
Yeah, I mean, they are ranked or seeded by the rank, like how it is at the moment, and I do think it should be Mouseport G2 phase and then North or Godsend.
Okay, so I will go with Mouse, FaZe, and G2, but that's just one change.
I'll say it's gonna be most G2
I think
phase
it's
Godsend. I don't believe in North.
no, me neither, actually. I think Godsend will take the fourth spot. I think they are the only team out of these who can challenge even the best teams on a perfect game, a perfect day. They can actually challenge Mouse, G2, and FaZe, to some degree. Of course, it's like a super big upset if they win, but they can. And I do think that they should be much better than all the other teams. North, it will be very deciding. The game between Godsend and North will be super important, I think. But yeah, I do think Godsend will pull it out. I think they are actually stronger.
And yeah, looking at recent results for Godsend, they haven't actually played for a while.
Nope.
Oh well, they played the DreamHack Masters closed qualifiers a few days ago, but they were in EPL season 11 and they lost to Vitality, Astralis, and NIP 2-0 to all of them. Then they won 2-1 against ENS and 2-0 against Spirit. In the DreamHack Masters qualifiers, they won Aves, Force, and Spirit all 2-1. I mean, I'm actually like this team is actually very interesting. You have the experience with, you have Michael Psycho, Crystal, then you have Zen from Finland, Young Gun, and then you have Maiden. Well, Jesse is 28, so he's not a young gun, but Maiden is the young gun, he's 21.
Yeah,
Um,
and Maiden or Madden, nobody knows how to say it. Apparently, he doesn't even know himself. Uh, he has been really, really good. Just to point out, like this is a guy. Let's say like this: I don't believe Godsend will ever be a tier one, but Madden or Maiden has definitely the ability to join another team and actually be like a world class player. Looking at how he's performing in this team, I really, really like. And
mm,
he's, the important part is he has shown that against world class teams. It's not a like, sometimes we see these tier 2, 3 type of games where these young players really, really shine. But Madden has already shown he can play really well against like Astralis, NIP, Vitality, OG, Complexity, teams like this, right? So I really, really believe he's going to be a top tier player. And maybe he can be that for Godsend, but most likely he would have to, eventually change to an actual stronger team.
yeah, I mean, looking at the last 6 months, Crystal has been the weak link. Um,
Uh,
he's the only one averaging way over one. Everybody else is either
Under, I mean.
one, yeah, under one. But yeah,
Sure.
Maiden is the young gun, and he's the one that has kind of the potential to climb to the top. And I think Godsend is the right place for him to be at the moment because he
Yeah,
has
for
more
sure.
experienced players around him. I mean, the team still has potential. Um, they won't be top 10. I don't think that, but they have like a fighting chance, and that's a great place for Maiden to get more experience. Obviously, great for them if they go through, and even if they can get on the second round on the playoffs, that's amazing for them already.
For sure. I mean, definitely, this is very, very separated. This group, right? The top three, they have nothing else in mind than playoffs. Like, there's no other acceptable results. I think for Godsend, playoffs would be amazing already. And even if they don't make playoffs, like if they really fight hard for it, they end up, slightly behind, let's say North or something. It can still be a decent result for Godsend. I mean, this is a tough, tough group. So. Uh, Playoffs is obviously their goal.
Yeah. Um. How well? Let's touch a bit on North then before moving on.
Yeah,
We are placing them below North. Below Godsend. I mean. Um.
slightly. Yeah,
We
it's not
have
like a
AZ,
massive difference.
Kirby Gate, Cajun B, and MSL. Something about this team just doesn't feel right. I don't know what it is. Like they have good players. They're not great, but they have good players, a good lineup, and they've been able to take big wins before. And it's not like their entire roster has changed, but something is off.
Yeah, it's really hard to call actually. I do think, however, since MSL joined North, they have been looking much better. So that's a good sign. But then they have these off games, I feel like. It was kind of the same in ESL Pro League. I think they got like a cheap victory against Navi. On paper it looks great. You 2-0 Navi, but Navi was playing fucking terrible that day. And after that, they challenged Fnatic, which is also, that's good. Then they won against Big. Fine, that's good. But then in the last game, they lost against Complexity. They could have gone to the playoffs in ESL Pro League, which obviously that would have been very good. So it's a lot of up and down. We saw them in Home Sweet Home as well, and everything looked great to a beginning. Like they won against Sprout, they won against Japalenio, they won against Endpoint. That's all good. Like those teams are not terrible, but then they lost against Spirit 2-0, and they were really underwhelming that game. I don't know. It's North is they are strange. They can be really good. They have a lot of talent in this team. They seem to be working pretty well on tactics with MSL ever since he joined. I just don't know why it doesn't work any better than it is. I really don't. It should, you know. It's strange to me. I can't put my finger on it because it just seems like some days they suck.
Yeah. So Group B, you have the same teams going through, just different order.
Sure.
Um. Now we've been talking 50 minutes about Counter-Strike, and is there something you want to add? Because I'm kind of like
Well,
ready to
not
go here.
really. I mean, I have a lot of thoughts about this. As you know, I'm actually writing an event page for all of these, and I'm trying to make a somewhat of a ranking for all of them as well. So it's a lot to think about. There's a lot going on, but I'm really looking forward to these qualifiers in general. It's a great format, like we said, and there's a lot of good games, especially in NA, EU. CIS is a little bit weaker, but it's still always fun to see Navi and some of the other teams. No, I'm just looking forward to this a lot, and we probably mentioned it, and we should have mentioned, but it starts tomorrow, so already tomorrow we'll have some pretty great good games. We had, hang on, I want to have them all.
I'll open up HLTV here so we can show what's coming tomorrow.
So we have Astralis Complexity, we have ENS Fnatic, and Vitality NIP, at least, from EU.
Yes,
So, you know, straight away for us, I think both ENS and Fnatic will be a fun game to see. I don't know, it's interesting, this whole ENS situation, see if they can ever dig themselves out of the hole, but the start could be easier. Fnatic is not going to be, the easiest start for them, so that's tough.
yeah, I mean, Astralis is a clear win here. They're gonna beat Complexity. I don't have any doubts about that. I think Fnatic will win ends 2-0, unfortunately. The Vitality NIP game, that's going to be very interesting. Because,
Yeah, I think also just to mention, I mean, the Vitality and IP game is super important. Usually you can be like, okay, it's the first game, it's not, whatever. If you lose, you lose, you still have a chance. This game is super important for both teams. I honestly think, the team who wins this will probably go through, and the team who loses is very likely to not go through, honestly. This is a tough game, like, super important.
then in North America, we have Triumph going against Cloud9, Gen G going against 100 Thieves, and Evil Geniuses meeting Hopeless.
Yeah, I think the only interesting game really on paper is the Gen G 100 Thieves one, and that's really important. It's kind of the same situation as the NIP Vitality game, right? So super important game for both. The two other ones should be clear wins for Cloud9 and Evil Geniuses, so not much to add.
Yeah. Wait. We also have South America. Oh, South America starts on Wednesday, but we have two series on Wednesday from South America. Boom against Red Canids and Isurus against Imperial. Obviously, that's a coin toss for us.
Yeah, no opinions there.
But it's safe to say that there's fuckloads of great Counter-Strike coming this week, and it's gonna last for a good over. It's gonna last over a month.
Yeah, this is going to be going on basically, looking at all the regions as one, we will have action basically daily for a month. So yeah, if you like CS:GO, there's good times ahead, to say the least.
And with that said, I think it's time to say goodbye, and we will be back tomorrow at the same time, just like every other day before that. for about a month now.
For sure, sounds good to me. And I think, well, tomorrow we could dive in a little bit into these matchups we just mentioned, since they start tomorrow after our podcast basically ends. So other than that, maybe we will have some interesting topic, and you and me can fight about something if we can find something controversial.
Yes. So thank you for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow.